Macca's Guides.
Hey, what's up guys, Mac here playing Halo 2 Anniversary, showing you all 8 toy locations for the collectibles related achievement Toybox, which is worth 20 gamer score. You'll also receive an individual achievement for each individual toy, bringing the total for this video to 9 achievements worth 60 gamer score. Now I do recommend you play with the Sputnik skull on. I also recommend you play on easy, and it is recommended that you carry a grenade on you at all times in order to be able to do grenade jumps. Which you will need to practice. Special thanks goes to iCama03, Barth PL, and the guy on Reddit who posted a vertical iPhone video of one of the toys for helping me out finding some of these locations. Additionally, if at any point you see me going out of the map, as you can see on screen right now, I recommend that you do this in Halo 2 Classic mode. All of the geometry outside of the boundaries of the map is only true in Halo 2 Classic. So I'll actually switch back and forth from Anniversary to Classic in a second here to show you guys that I'm basically going to be floating in midair, so that's why you can't really do this on the Anniversary graphical update. The first one on Delta Halo, you're going to come to the area where you need to extend the bridge. Now, you're going to need to hijack a ghost from one of the enemies, and then ride it up the side of that mountain, and then come down here where I showed you. And at the very end of the tip of this little piece of land, you will find the toy only in Anniversary graphical mode. Now there's another way to get here which takes about 15 minutes but also very possible. If you do the method to get out of the boundaries at the very beginning of the map, you can go around the huge lake behind where you spawn and then climb the huge mountain and then go down that huge mountain to end up in the same spot. This is the easier method. Next up on Regret, this one involves a grenade jump, so this is where you're going to need Sputnik. If you're going to do the High Ben Easter egg achievement, this will look quite familiar to you. As you exit the first area, you're going to want to do a grenade jump across this gap. I like to do it with frag grenades because I feel like I get way further and higher with them, but you can also do it with plasma grenades. You just need to time it a little better and you might suicide. So you might want to make sure you get a checkpoint before you start doing these grenade jumps. So now that I've grenaded myself over, it might take 2 grenade jumps if your first one's not high enough. You're going to need to do a 3rd grenade jump up onto the 2nd story of this floating platform. You can also do this from the platform where the 2 hunters land after you take them out. It is a smaller jump, but it's not really necessary. And once you're on top of this area, you'll find this guy right here, and you can collect him to get the achievement. Directly under me is where you'd find the High Ben Easter egg and achievement guide. Now we're on Sacred Icon. This is almost at the very beginning of the level. You'll come into this room, and then you'll transition into a second room that looks almost identical. Above you will be a beam of energy. And if you stick to the left-hand side as soon as you enter this room, I recommend jumping on one of these little pillars. And then you're going to want to do a grenade jump by throwing a plasma grenade somewhere at your feet. Don't stick yourself. And then do the grenade jump over across onto the left-hand side, 2nd story. That's basically the only way to get up here. And then if you go to the corner in this 3rd little slot, you should be able to find this collectible right here. Walk over it to pick it up. It is quite dark, so you can use your plasma pistol or get a sentinel beam off of one of the enemies in order to see better. Next up, on Quarantine Zone, you'll ride this gondola for about 5 minutes. And once it docks onto this little area, you'll get a new part of the mission called That Old Familiar Feeling. And it'll also unlock a checkpoint. As soon as you exit the gondola from the right-hand side, turn right onto this walkway and then do a grenade jump to where I just aimed. Again, I like to do it with this frag grenade. I feel like I get a little bit higher, but if you don't have any frag grenades, you should have plasmas from the enemies that were just on the ship, and you should be able to do the same jump and get more or less the same effect. Once you get on top, you should be able to collect this one decently easy. Now, Gravemind, this is, that's where the terminal would be. You come into this open area, and you'll drop down. There'll be a whole bunch of enemies. This is kind of one of the first times you end up outside. There's 2 areas that look similar, but I believe this is the first one. If you come up onto the right, and instead of going forward to proceed with the mission, you'll want to jump up on this rock, and then you should be able to do a crouch jump onto that ledge that I just shot. If for whatever reason you're having trouble getting this crouch jump, you can try to use a sticky grenade in order to launch yourself with Sputnik Skull. And once you land on that, you're just going to want to hop up onto this ledge and then climb the tallest part of the mountain. You might need to crouch jump and slide into the right spot. And then eventually behind that little tip, you'll find this walkway. And once you're on the walkway, you're just going to need to walk to the very end in order to find the Cortana toy. So as you see me going here, it is quite dark, so I've turned on my flashlight in order to help you guys see better. at the very end, lying on the ground. You should see it. Just pick it up in order to unlock the individual 5 gamer score achievement and 1 point of progress towards the 8 total toys achievement. Sometimes they take a little bit of time to register and show up on your screen. Next up on Uprising. On this mission, you'll start outdoors and then you'll go through an indoor section where you could also get the Cowardly Grunt Easter egg. And from that section, you'll end up outdoors again. You'll have a big battle where I've taken out all the enemies and you're going to want to stick to the right hand side and go where I am right now. Now you're going to need to do a grenade jump, which takes me 2 tries. I'm trying to do it in anniversary mode just so you guys kind of see better, but it is a little bit easier to do in classic mode. So again, that's my grenade jump and I'm up here. If you're up here and you go forward, you'll notice that there's a big chasm or like a break in the cliffs. So what you're going to want to do is go right and then basically just follow the edge of these cliffs as long as you can. So you'll see me following the edge of the cliffs. I do fast forward a little bit, I think. You're going to want to drop down here and then follow this walkway. This walkway is quite narrow. I recommend, again, it's probably best you switch to classic mode just so you don't fall off of some of the textures or geometry that might not be present in the anniversary mode. Now that I've killed that jackal, you're going to have to do a little bit of a jump here. This is a crouch jump, which can be a little bit difficult. You might want to just save a grenade if you're having huge troubles with it. It'll help. Again, now that I got up, I'm going to keep following the cliffside, keeping the cliffside on my left. Now you can go up to where that left spot is, or you can try to climb up here. It is a little bit steep, so you might need to just use the Halo 2 Classic geometry in order to get a better grip on things. Again, as soon as I come over that tip, stick to the left-hand side and keep that cliff on your left. We're going to keep going here. You're going to see these 2 trees. As soon as you cross these 2 trees, the music in the game should die down a bit, and it'll be quite lower. So we're just going to keep following this cliff's edge and keep going and keep going and keep going. And eventually you'll reach this area. And then if you keep going a little bit more, you'll reach an open area where you can no longer progress through this using any of these pathways. And then once you reach this area in the very corner at the back, you should be able to find your toy. You're going to obviously want to walk up to it and walk over it to pick it up. So that one took a little bit of time, but it's not too bad. It's not too hard. You don't really need to do a whole lot of crazy stuff to get it. Next, on High Charity, you'll come through this dark hallway, and then you'll come into this room. There are 2 rooms that look identical. This is the first time you enter a room that looks like this. And if you go through the little middle tunnel part, you'll notice a rock structure on the right-hand side. So that's the rock structure. It's at the very top of that. It is quite dark on screen, but you're going to basically just want to jump up onto the rock here. So if you go behind the rock, you should be able to do this jump very easily without any problems. And once you get on top, you should be able to look up here. That's the door I came from. And on top of this rock structure, you should be able to find, I believe it's Rampant Cortana, but I'm not 100% sure. Now the last one, the Great Journey, definitely the longest one. What you're going to want to do, this is optional. At the very beginning of the mission, take the Spectre and then race forward and park it somewhere underneath the Scarab and just keep it in good condition. You're going to need to take out 2 or 3 Wraiths as well as about 6 to 8 Brutes in order to get a door to open. So make sure you keep this outside of those battles and make sure you keep it in good condition. Now, if you don't want to do this step, that's fine. When you start escorting the Scarab back to the beach side, you're going to need to board and hijack one of these Spectres from an enemy as fast as possible to make sure your Scarab doesn't damage it or kill it or break it or anything. So you can hijack a Scarab Spectre later on, just make sure your Scarab doesn't kill it. So I've parked my Spectre, take care of the Wraiths, and then you'll come to this section where you exit and you'll notice a Scarab in front of you with a whole bunch of Brutes. Take out all the Brutes and then stand in front of the Scarab in order to trigger a cinematic and the next part of the mission. From here, you can just drop straight down onto the ground level and towards your Spectre. Now that we're in our Spectre, we're going to race back as fast as possible. If you're on easy, you shouldn't have to worry about enemies. If you're on a harder difficulty, you are probably going to have a problem here. We're going to race through to the beginning of the area where we came from at the very beginning of the mission. And you want to watch out. We're going to have to drive off this cliff. But if you drive off the left side, you'll probably die because the fall is too long and then the game triggers that you're dying. So you're going to have to kind of drive off the middle section. And don't drive off too fast or else you'll have too much hang time. And the game will just register it it as if you're falling into an endless pit. So make sure you drive off a little bit slowly and through the middle of the area. Again, this is another time where you're going to probably want to switch to Halo 2 Classic graphics, as the geometry is way easier to read. And remember that the Spectre has kind of two options you can have on it. There's a boost button, and then there's also like a wheelie button. Now, for me on Bumper Jumper, the boost was, I believe, the left trigger, and then the wheelie button was the bumper. I believe it's different on whatever control scheme you are on, so make sure you know how to do that. And that's going to help you climb the really, really steep hills. Now again, right now I'm in anniversary mode. You're probably going to want to be in classic, as these trees and there's other things here. Like this looks like a really hard hill to climb, and then if you switch back, it's actually quite a bit easier to see everything. And basically what you're going to want to do, I think I showed you guys where we're going from when we were on the beach. You are basically going to the top of the tallest mountain behind this area. This might take you a little bit of trial and error, but if you follow where I'm going exactly, you shouldn't have much trouble. Here you'll notice it's a very steep hill, but there's a little bit of a gradual change on the right hand side. So that's what you're going to want to do. Again, I'm boosting up the side of the mountain, and then you're going to want to let go of your boost a little bit as you come to the very top so you don't fly too far forward or anything like that. Now we're up here. This is the last little part of the mountain. You might have to switch over onto this side, and as soon as you reach the top tip point, you're going to want to bail out of your Spectre. Make sure you don't overshoot and then die. I'll come out of here in anniversary mode. That's where we came from. I'm at the very top of the mountain, and you should be able to find the Didact. Thank you guys for watching. You can comment, you can like the video if you found it useful, and you can also subscribe for similar content in the future. Again, if you've got all 8, you should have unlocked 8 achievements worth 5 gamer score, and then one final achievement called Toybox worth 20 gamer score, bringing your total to 9 achievements worth 60 gamer score. I also believe this unlocks some of the armors in the multiplayer aspect of the game. Thank you guys for watching. Again, hopefully I see you in one of my future videos. Peace.